Are you an Enneagram Type 4 but don't always feel like you act and behave like the typical 4? Well, there's a reason for this, and we call that reason countertypes. And you're probably a little confused going, okay, Hillary, come on. What are countertypes? Just when you thought you knew everything about the Enneagram, I throw this curveball at you. Yes, there are types, there are wings, there are subtypes, and within the subtypes, there is a countertype. Before I dive into what countertypes are and dig a little deeper into who the Countertype 4 is, I want to introduce myself to you guys. My name is Hillary. I'm your certified Enneagram life coach, and I run Enneagram and coaching, where I do a ton of typing and a ton of coaching and different things like that. If you want more information about that, I'll link that down below. And my purpose is to teach you guys the Enneagram in the simplest and easiest way possible. And why? It's because I want to see you guys understand yourself and the people in your life better, have more grace, have more love, have more understanding. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into countertypes and figure out, what does countertype actually mean? All 9 types has a countertype. It's that type that doesn't always look and behave like the other 2 types. Probably already heard of them. They're called self-preservation, social, and sexual, also known as one-to-one. Those are our subtypes, which actually they can be known as instinctual variants also. So both of those words mean the same thing. So we have a social, a self-preservation, and a sexual within all 9 types, which actually gives us 27 subtypes. And within each type's 3, the SP, SO, and SX, is a countertype. This is the one that doesn't act or behave like your typical type, especially on the outside and within their behaviors. And to break it down even further, every type has that countertype. Like I said, I'll use myself as an example because I'm a type 9 social, and the social 9 is the countertype, which means I don't act or behave like the typical 9 or the 9 that actually is the self-preservation or the sexual instinct. I'm the social 9 and I act and behave a little different than them, but the core of me is still the exact same. Let's go ahead and dive into the 4 and talk about the countertype of the 4, which ends up being self-preservation. That's the countertype 4. And because this type doesn't display some of the typical type 4 behaviors, they actually can get mistyped a lot. Let's talk about envy, because all 3 subtypes of the 4 do experience envy. But that self-preservation 4, instead of talking and sharing about their envy, instead are more long-suffering. In this sense, they learn to endure pain and not talk about it. These 4s are more stoic and strong in the face of their pain. So while that self-preservation 4 might feel suffering, envy, sensitivity, shame, they're going to still feel it. They just don't talk about it. That self-preservation 4, they do demand a lot of themselves. They put themselves in situations that are hard, that are challenging. They have a tendency to just test themselves. This 4 tends to be the more generous one, they're more giving, they're more compassionate. They could be known as the humanitarian. They really will protest and fight for the sake of other people. They're very sensitive to victims of injustice and the needy. Some of this has to do with, if they take care of other people's pain, then they won't have to deal with their own pain. I've heard this 4 also known as the sunny 4. They really do put on a happy face for other people. People just don't see behind the mask of what they're wearing. They're a lot of times putting on that happy face, even if it's not fully true. This one does have those darker feelings of the type 4 that all the 4s have, but they tend to keep their emotions private and are less dramatic. So that's a little information on the self-preservation 4. What did you guys think? Did you relate to this subtype? This countertype? Let me know in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. I'd love to know if you're like, wow, I've been trying to decide if I am a 4 and what my instinct is, and now you know. Or you can say, yeah, definitely not this one. So let me know. And I will say, I have already covered the other 2 subtypes. If you're sitting here going, well, now I know all about the self-preservation 4, but what about the social 4? What about that sexual one-to-one 4? Can I have a little bit more information about that? And the answer is yes, you absolutely can. I will link that video right here and down below in the description box, because I've already covered that video. I taught on it. I taught a full entire video on the subtypes of the type 4, so go give that a watch if you want more information. All right, anyways, that's all I have on that self-preservation 4, the countertype for today. You guys know I never like to close these without letting you know if you do need help with figuring out your type, or you're needing a little bit of coaching from me. I am a certified coach and Enneagram coach. I have a bunch of packages that you can look through and see if it's something that you're needing more of. I'll link those right here and down below in the description box. You can find all of that on my website. But that's all I have for you guys today. Until next time, bye guys.